And today's topic is customer retention. Let's see.
Hey guys, good morning. How are you?
Morning.
It's good to see you again, Kayla. We haven't seen each other in like over a year, right?
I know. How are you?
Good. Welcome. Well, talking about customer retention, it's incredibly important for real estate agents to remain connected to their customers. You know, some real estate agents are always, and I know real estate agents like this, they move on to the next person and the next deal immediately. You know, it's like kind of out of sight, out of mind. They're always working with new customers. But, you know, statistically, and if you dive into some data and if you read certain books and things like that, you'll see that, you know, it is more fruitful for your time and from an expense standpoint to keep in touch with past business. When you close a deal, it is not gone and forgotten. Those people, you keep in touch, not only because you want to be that person's real estate agent for life, you know, but how many transactions is that going to really be for you? But what you want is their referral business as well. You want to remain top of mind. And when you build those relationships, it's like it all just kind of compounds. So what you want to do, how we do it usually is we have a customer, like a database of our contacts. And those are new leads, old leads, people we've done deals with, people that we haven't, whatever it may be. But when you have done a deal with somebody, it's about keeping them on a marketing plan. And it's a lot of times I like to automate my stuff because it's a lot, you know, we're running around like headless chickens most of our days and weeks, you know, chasing our current and active work. So what I try and do is keep all of my customer retention processes automated as best I can. So once they go into our system, I put them on a plan so that they get an email every few weeks, or they get a automated text message, or I send myself a reminder a few times a year to pick up the phone and call and ask about how the kids are, how that renovation went, you know, blah, 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 you know, whatever it is, whatever kind of relationship you've built, because at the end of the day, you've worked with these folks for like very intensely for at least 6 weeks. But before that, maybe 2-3 months while you were searching for their house. So you get to know people really well. So it's not an uncomfortable thing 2-3 times a year to pick up the phone, say hello, build and keep that relationship so that when they're thinking of real estate, I'm the first name that pops into their head. I heard a statistic recently that with real estate agents, they can, you know, usually you can name one, maybe two of them, you know, so if you're not number 1 or 2 in somebody's head, you're not. You know, you can send an email once a year or, you know, do these like small little touches randomly. But if it's not consistent and you're not committed to it, you're not going to be that number 1 or 2 position in their mind for real estate, and being kind of that expert in their head. Like, oh, you know what? She's on top of what she's doing. She's knowledgeable. She knows the local market. She understands and knows when it's changing and calls me and tells me when she's noticing a change. You know, we're seeing things tip this way or that way. If you know somebody that is curious about the market, have them call me. I can explain more in more detail, whatever it may be. So that's my customer retention plan. It could be a lot to put in place, but believe me, it's incredibly fruitful once you put that time and energy into putting it in place, because people do think of you. And even when, you know, you haven't, you know, you're not sure if it's working. You're not sure if this person is thinking of you. They seem a little bit distant, this or that. They're not really responsive all the time to a text message or you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, they call you, or somebody calls you and says, oh, so-and-so passed your information to me. Or you reach out to them and say, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. I've been wanting to, you know, buy another multifamily, or whatever's going on in their head. So it's incredibly important from my perspective to keep in touch and put those plans in place early and automate as much as possible so that it doesn't slip by in the hectic day-to-day weeds of the business that we can easily get trapped in. And that's kind of my plan that I put in place. I don't know if anybody has any questions or has anything that they do. I'd love to hear some other best practices for retention.
We do something similar. It's basically we do categorize our clients into group A, group B, group C, D. With all of them, we still meet with them on a quarterly basis or a semi-annual basis, whatever they like. And we just go over their plan because in financial advising, your plan changes constantly because your goals change. And so we have to adjust. Right. And it's very easy if you don't meet with your clients for them to move to a different advisor if they're not happy with meeting their goals.
Mhm.
Right. And it's, just as simple as remembering their birthday as well and sending them maybe like a birthday cake or a little birthday basket, showing them that you actually do care.
Mhm.
Right. But does anybody else have anything to do to keep customer retention?
I have a couple of thoughts. So I have a 30-day cancellation policy. My average stay is 7 years. I've got one guy who's been with me 19 years. So retention on some levels is high, but at the other side, we do have some turnover when I bring in the wrong people. So we got to look at who we're bringing in, and when we lower the bar to make entry a little too easy, if you know what I mean. So I think finding the right clients is a huge part of having high retention, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they have to understand the value, right? So if there's no value, you're not going to keep them regardless.
Good. Anyone else for customer retention?
Typically I find just if you follow up with people a lot, like you said, the birthdays, even like I know what I used to do a lot of times was like handwritten cards. So, you get a card from let's just say for me, from the bank, and it's, printed on, and you're like, it's an advertisement. When you see it's handwritten, you're more likely to open it. And people loved it. The feedback we would get when I was in Parsippany was great, especially with like the birthday cards. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys hand wrote all these. And we would all sign them and, send them out. And we would do it all at the beginning of the month. It's a huge undertaking, especially, as a bank, we have a lot of clients, but it's totally worth it to get it done if you can. I know it's not always an easy feat, but it definitely works for sure. People love it.
Hi guys, I'm new, sorry, a little late, but going along with the birthday cards, one of the things when I was in a different industry, one of the things that I would do is I would make sure I knew the kids' birthdays too, and their anniversaries, like the husband and wife anniversaries. Um, I think remembering the kids' birthdays and sending something out for the kids' birthdays is sometimes even more impactful because, people love their kids so much. I mean, their kids are their world a lot of times. So if you remember their kids' birthdays, that goes a long ways too. So not just your clients necessarily, but their family. I found that helpful.